Hey everyone, welcome back to the Get Out of Jail Sis Challenge Day 3. I'm excited for this day as well because we are talking about action. We're talking about putting things in action that God has given you. He has given you or put into your spirit, for lack of words. But I'm excited because it is time for you guys to be free. It's no longer for you to feel like you're in jail, like you're bound, that you're in bondage, or you feel like you're cuffed to something. It's time for you to break the chains off your mindset, and it's time for you to break the chains off of whatever that you're cuffed to, that past trauma, that past hurt, that past abandonment. It's time for you to break the chains off of that. It's time for you to be disconnected from that and to walk in the fullness of what God has called you. And before we get before we dive deeper into what the action entails, get your tickets if you have not gotten your tickets already for the Get Out of Jail Sis Women's Conference that is going down December the 2nd, right here in Tampa, where I reside at the Tampa Westin Waterside. I'm excited about this conference because we are going to be setting some people free, meaning me, myself, and the speakers. We have some phenomenal women on this lineup that is going to be sharing with you their stories, their testimonies of what their jail was like, what their jail was, how they were able to get out of jail. We have a therapist who is going to be sharing with you the importance of seeking therapy so that you can furthermore get the strategies to help you to overcome the trauma that you have experienced. It is so important that we get a hold of this trauma and to resolve it for us to be healed and to be healed and free indeed, because the trauma is what's holding us back. It's the trauma that we're clinging on as if it's some sort of life support to give us life when it's really detrimental to who God has called us to be. Is really killing us rather than giving us life. It is time for us to break away from that. So during these days of the challenges, I'm sharing with you the first step of how to heal, the first step of getting out of bondage, because it's so important that we have to reclaim our confidence after we experience trauma. A lot of times is that we sit in the trauma and we think that trauma defines who we are when that's not true. And a lot of us, we experience different traumas, right? Whether you were in a household where you witnessed a parent or someone who was getting abused, whether it's physically, emotionally, mentally, you witnessed that, or you were a victim of trauma, of seeing that as well, because that trauma projected onto you just by witnessing that. So now when you're in certain areas, in certain places, and you see certain things that happen in your household, you become triggered by it. And these are the things that people don't understand, that this is what happens to you, where you might not be the actual victim in the trauma, but you are still a product of the trauma because you were in that environment. So we have to break free from that. We have to change the way that we think about the traumas and the pain that we endured, So I'm excited about this challenge, and I hope that if you are just tuning in, that you will go back to day 1 and day 2 and to watch, so that you can get the full scope of what is being talked about, and how that you can make the necessary steps so that you can be free. Okay, so today we are talking about action. And in action, I want to share with you is that it is time for you to walk out and do what God has called you to do. No matter how it may make you feel, right? We have to trust and know that God is with us, right? That if He put it on the inside of us, that He is going to continue to give us strategy and instruction on how to do that thing. And when I first started with Reclaiming Your Life, I ain't gonna lie, I was still struggling with it even up until last year, and it was what I have to say, is it going to make a difference? Is it going to impact anyone? And I had to realize, even if I just impact one person, that's all. At least I know that's one person that has escaped jail, who have came out of jail, who is now seeing who God has called them to be, and to walk into that, to be healed from their past traumas and their past hurt. We don't realize how much we are attached to that trauma. And see, and sometimes, I'm not sure if I mentioned it yesterday or I wanted to, if I said it or not, but I'm going to say it again because it's brought back up into my spirit, that even just the abandonment and the rejection is a result of trauma. And we have to understand every little thing that happened in our lives, even as a child and even as an adult. It has an effect on who we are, how we think, how we walk, how we communicate with people. It has an effect. I've heard a lady who talked about trauma, about her experience. And I know that it happened with us, and we don't even realize until we sit back and we think about our childhood was like that. Because I even had to think back too, is that she said that she was either molested or raped at 2 or 3 years old, and that left her in silence. That left her muzzled, where she didn't speak. And when I look back, even at my childhood and the things that experienced and endured, it allowed me to be shy. It allowed me to be quiet. And that's the thing. We say we shy and we're introverts, right? And this doesn't go for everybody, right? But we're shy and we're introverts because of things that happen to us, right? Because that makes us feel like we're in a safe place where, okay, I'm not going to say anything that won't draw too much attention to me, or whatever the case might be. It won't attract that type of person if I open my mouth. So we have to really go through the motions and the steps, to get the necessary healing necessary, so that we can really walk into who God called us to be, and no longer have that fear or be timid or scared, because what He called us to be, we feel inadequate. And that's how I was feeling. I was feeling inadequate, that what do I have to share? Is it going to impact anybody? Is anybody going to listen? And I just had to really tell myself, if the one person listens to what I'm saying, what I'm sharing from my experiences, and also what God has instructed me to say, that I know that that one person has been impacted. That's the goal, to get one person. And that's what you should remind yourself. It is just one person that you were to impact, one person where they changed their life, one person who said that I'm giving my life back to Christ. It's that one person. Don't let fear keep you quiet. Don't let fear keep you bound, because that's another thing, where your jail is your fear, right? And see, and that's the thing. There's multiple jails that we get ourselves in. We would get out and then get back in, get out, then get back in, because even a fear is also a jail. That's what's holding you back. It's holding you back from moving you one step closer to who God called you to be and what He has for you, right? So we have to no longer let fear reside in us. We have to continue to have faith. You know the saying, faith over fear, right? But sometimes we're going to be honest, right? Sometimes, we get, and another thing, what I realized is that, and I don't know if it's more so the fear or nervous. Nervous and fear is two different things. So I'm gonna just scratch that. But we have to know and know for sure who we are in God. And I say that because once we know for sure and we know our authority, we won't operate in fear. Right. And I mentioned in day one that we have to be mindful of the seeds that's planted in our heads. We take control of that. We know what we want to feed into or look into, however you want to word it. So you have to be mindful because the enemy is still gonna come, right? He gonna come. That's his job, right? He gonna come and he gonna try to attack us. And this is why it's important of the renewing of your mind. This is why it's important to change your mind because he only can attack you via your mind, not your heart. So if he can contaminate you with your mind, it's over. And that's why we have to be careful of our thoughts. We have to be careful of the things that we say. We have to be careful of the things that the enemy will try to say and what we allow to be planted up here. He can't, he can't, he don't know what we're thinking. He only can plant something. He don't know what we're thinking, but he can tell based off of our actions. Because what he don't want us to do, he don't want us to know who we are in Christ. He don't want us to know our identity because he already know who we are, but we don't. He don't want us to be who God called us to be because if so, that means we're doing God's work and he's not going to be able to get any kind of justification or anything from that. So he wants us at rock bottom. He wants us down. He wants us bound. And as long as he can keep us bound, he is he I don't even want to give that much, but as long as he can keep us bound, then he has control. You have to know and not want the enemy to have control of your mind. So you have to be mindful and you have to be strong willed. This is why the tips and the things I've shared in day one and day two is that you have to do. You have to do the work. You have to be willing to change your mind and you have to be willing to do the work to know who you are today, not before the trauma, not during the trauma, but who you are now as a result of the trauma. And I guarantee you, you're stronger and you're better than you were before and during, right? Um, as we continue to do what God has called us to do, no matter how big of a vision that He may gives us, because let me tell you something, whatever God gives us is bigger than what we think. That's just the way it is. So sometimes it is going to feel a little scary, like, whoa, I don't know now if I can really, do all of this that you're saying that I could do, because what I'm seeing right now in the physical and what I'm seeing in this vision, ooh, that's a lot. I don't even. Sometimes you may even want to run because you're like, I don't even know if I can be that person. And I'm going to tell you, you can. You just have to submit to God. You have to submit yourself to God. Because once you submit yourself to God, you can become the person that He's showing you. Don't fight it because you can fight it all day. You can fight it all day, but let me tell you something. You're going to submit. At the end, you're going to submit and God is going to win because you can't run from it. You just can't. And he is going to give you the instructions. He's going to give you the strategic instructions on what to do. I mentioned it a little bit in day one. He will give you the instructions, but don't take the first instruction and run with it and then think you can do whatever you want from that one instruction. No, follow the instructions. Sometimes if we follow the instructions, we are better off. But what happened is that we go off course. He would give us one instruction and then we take it and run. And then we end up in all this chaos. And then we're crying out to God, like, why? Why is this going on? Why is this happening to me? Because he gave you an instruction and you were supposed to come back and you didn't. Or he gave you an instruction, then you went to somebody else and told them and followed their instructions, but not God instructions. So the instructions is very important because God would, God will give us instructions and the Holy Spirit is going to guide us. And it's just even as something simple as where you may be driving a certain way every day to work, but then God says, no, instead of you taking a left, take a right. That's the instruction. But you want to take the opposite way. You take the right all the time, but now he's telling you to take a left, but yet you want to be disobedient and you want to take the right turn. Whereas now, boom, you're in traffic. Traffic is backed up about 15, 20 minutes. Whereas if you would have took the left, you would have been able to make it to work on time. So these are the little things that I am talking about when I'm saying instructions, right? Is little instructions like that where he would say, make a left. Right. And we make a left, he's going to show you the next way to go. Or even when you take the left, then boom, you're in the clear. You know where to go from there. Right. So we have to be very um obedience, and we have to listen to what God is saying, because he knows best. He's the author of our lives, right? He also knows what we're going to do before we even do it. So it's better that you go ahead and just follow and obey, right? So we have to also understand taking a leap of faith. Taking a leap of faith. Again, taking a leap of faith requires us to be uncomfortable. And sometimes being uncomfortable is very much uncomfortable. Trust me, I know. Because even with planning this conference, I moved here in Tampa the end of 2021. And I work from home, so I don't really go out as much and mingle with a lot of people. I'm just now starting to go um, meeting some people through getting my hair done. The church that I'm also a part of now, that I'm a member, that I'm there and I'm starting to meet people. So it was hard for when God told me to do this conference in person, because I'm like, whoa, okay, God, I'm out here in a new state, not even a new city or town, in a whole new state, and don't know anyone. And God said to do it in person. And I'm just like, I don't even know, and even reaching out to the speakers, majority of the speakers are out of state. And that was my thing. I'm like, Lord, are they going to come? Are they going to make it? And as I'm continuing to plan the conference, God is showing me that who is supposed to be there will come. That's even outside of the speakers. Who this conference is for, they are going to come, whether they come virtually or if they come in person. And it was very uncomfortable because, again, I haven't really met anybody. It's just me doing this by myself. Last year I had help. And you see how God, I say God is funny. He is so amusing, because last year it was virtual. I had help. This year is in person. I don't have help. So I'm literally doing everything myself, from email marketing, from marketing on social media, planning content, calling venues, calling vendors, reaching out to sponsors. I'm doing everything. I'm marketing, I'm the visionary, I am the CFO, I am the admin, I am everything. And I'm just like, okay, God, because I told myself I'm not going to complain. Obviously, there is a lesson that I should be taking from this, of planning and doing everything myself, because he has removed the help that I had last year, who is phenomenal. And I can't wait for her to come back and be a part of the team. But he removed the help in ways where, as even the reason why she couldn't be a part this year, she said that she know where she is at, that is also going to be beneficial for for the conference. the FOP for next year. She knows that the skills that she's acquiring where she's at is going to be beneficial to the conference. So I know that God is doing something not only just in myself, but the people who He had me work with hand in hand, that there's something that we're supposed to be taking in this season. And I'm okay with that because you know what? Me doing everything this year is giving me the blueprint of how the conference is going to be and what needs to happen for next year, because I'm praying and I'm believing that He is going to send me the team that I need to make this conference the way that He has shown me, because it's only going to get bigger. So I'm excited for that. At the same time, I'm also like, it's just a lot, God. But then you know what I'm also doing? I'm asking God to give me His strength, because it's His strength that I need to rely on. Because if it was up to me, I wouldn't have any time, because my lifestyle, the way that it is always on the go. I have 4 kids, I have a husband, so I'm taking care of the family, I'm cooking dinner, I'm working, and then on top of that, I have the Reclaiming Your Life, promoting this conference and doing everything for it, as well as working on another business. And the only thing I can really do is to rely on God's strength. That's all I can do. And that's what you have to do as well, because you're going to need to ask God for His strength for some of the things that He has shown you and that He wants you to do. We can't do everything on our own strength. If so, we will be depleted. Things want to get done. Point blank, right? I'm gonna just be honest. Things will not get done if it was according to our strength. It wouldn't get done. So I want to remind you of that. Although the vision requires something new and something different of us, don't um, don't forfeit the vision, because God is preparing you for the next thing. He is preparing you for the next thing. And also, if you need help, ask for the help. If you need guidance or something, ask for guidance. Pray God to send you those people to show you the ropes, to for a mentor and all of these things. I'm telling you this from what I know, because God answers our prayers. He answers our prayers. He might not answer them right then and there, which He could, but when He does answer it, is right on time. It is right on time. And I don't know if it was my friend or someone that I heard this from, is that would you rather Him answer your prayers, I think, right away, or as long as He answers your prayers? Because as long as He answers your prayers, no matter how long it may take, there's still something that you're going to learn in that time period of waiting. It's still something that you're going to be able to take from it. It's still someone that you may even talk to connect with during that period, along that's working all the way up until He answers your prayers, right? So don't give up, don't lose sight, don't get weary. Keep having faith, keep pushing. It feels uncomfortable, but trust me, it's going to be worth it. Don't let fear stop you. Don't let fear block you. Don't let fear cripple you. Don't allow the enemy to come in with the negative thoughts, the self sabotaging thoughts, if I can talk correctly, because we know that God is not a confusing God. We know that anything negative, anything that's contradicting to what God says, we know that's not God. We know that's not God, and we know it's the enemy. So you have to combat those thoughts. You got to start looking up scriptures to help you, whatever that you're struggling with. If you're struggling with faith, look up scriptures that will help you with faith. If you're struggling with your mind and the way that you speak, the things that you speak and say, look up scriptures to help you with that. If you struggle with anxiety, depression, look up scriptures that will help you with anxiety and depression. God does not give us the spirit of fear. These are things that you have to speak to yourself. You got to speak life over yourself. You can't allow someone else to come in and speak life over you, because their tongue means nothing. Their tongue means nothing. The only thing, because you don't know what they're operating, who they operating with, and who is speaking through them. Because whatever they say, you need to go back to God and go confirm that thing with God. Did God say this? What did God say? So you have to continue to push. Don't give up, don't abort it. This is the time to put into action. This is the time is for you to rise up and to live the life that God has for you. No longer waiting. Don't let the enemy steal what God has for you. It's time for your blessings to come. It's time for you to be able to be happy, to be at peace, to have joy. So that's what I wanted to share with you all in regarding to action. Take action. Set up your goals to what God has given you. Set goals. Accomplish those goals. Bust those things out and then go on to the next one. Don't stop there. Keep going. That's what I wanted to share with you all today. I hope that this blessed you. I hope it encouraged you to keep going. I hope that you'll be able to start having your own relationship with God and to seek Him for questions so that He can give you the answers and to live the life that He has for you. Because that's all it is for us right now, is to live the life that God has for us according to His will and not our will. It is time for us to rise up, no longer to be sitting in the shadows, sitting in the back, talking to myself. No longer for me to be sitting in the shadows, sitting in the back, and allowing people to go in front. Mm-mm. First shall be last, last shall be first. It's our time. It's our time. But the question is, do you want it? How bad do you want it? How bad do you want it? That's the question that I'm going to leave with you tonight. How bad do you want it? You think about that and then you go ahead and take it from there. But that's all that I have for you today. And I hope today bless you. I hope the whole challenge bless you. Please feel free to reach out to me. Let me know how this challenge blessed you. Let me know what were your takeaways. And just let me know. I want to be a part of your journey to reclaiming your life. I want to be a part of your journey on this new you. It's a new you. That's what it is. It's a new you, and I want to be a part of that journey. I want to continue to see you grow, to see you go into that next level. So I hope you all are well tonight. And again, get your early bird tickets. Oh, and before I go, I do have a code for you all to use to save 20%, which is RYL20, and you can use that on Eventbrite and even on the website. So go ahead, RYL20, save 20% off your early bird tickets, because I'm telling you, this is going to be a conference that you do not want to miss. And I'm not just saying that because it's a conference that I'm putting on, but it's a conference that God has given me. He has shown me that people are going to be set free, people are going to be delivered. It is time, it is our time for us to leave that trauma. My God, we don't even understand that the trauma is really holding us back. Our kids' deliverance is predicated on our deliverance as parents. So you want to be free, free indeed. Get delivered so that your kids can be delivered. There's no more of these generational cycles keep going and going. It stops with you. It breaks today. It breaks at the conference. It breaks in the mighty name of Jesus. We got to break. We got to break this generational cycles. No longer we're on this hamster wheel. Our kids' deliverance is tied to our deliverance. So I hope to see you there, whether it's virtual or in person. Get your tickets now. We have rooms available. Reserve your room if you are coming from out of town because we don't want the rooms to be sold out. If I need to go back and see if I can get more rooms, I will definitely do so. But I don't want you to miss this opportunity. So you can go on reclaimingyourlifellc.com and you can also reserve your room. Go ahead and lock in your tickets and lock in your room. And I will see you December the 2nd. Bye.